Personal boundaries are essential for having healthy relationships. Without it, there would be a lot of friction in your relationships, which would lead to ultimate pain. Boundaries are polite but firm communications of what behaviors you will and will not accept from others. In any relationship, people sometimes unknowingly and sometimes deliberately do or say things which hurt your feelings. They could do this because you have not set personal boundaries and communicated it properly. If someone didn't know that you dislike their particular behavior, establishing personal boundaries will ensure that they understand what you will tolerate and what not. Let's take an example. Suppose your colleague in office calls you little boy when you are in a group. He just says it jokingly, but you don't like being called a little boy between your friends. Instead of starting to resent your colleague, it is much better to look him straight in the eyes and say, "Look, Josh, I know you don't mean it, but I find it a bit offensive to be nicknamed little boy when we are in a group. Please don't say that again in the future. I thought I should let you know." When you communicate your boundaries with this clarity, people will surely comply 99% of the time. Your personal rights. You have to realize that as an individual, you have some personal rights. Some of the most important ones are as follows. 1. I have the right to think, feel, or do what I want to. I have the rights to have my own values, rights, and beliefs. 3. I have the right to decide what I will share with other people or not. 4. I have the right to inform other people if they are displaying inappropriate words or behavior. 5. I have the right to respect and love myself. 6. I have the right to choose relationships in my life. 7. I have the right to freely express myself. 8. I have the right to completely accept myself and where I'm right now. 9. I have the right to not be perfect. Keep above personal rights in your mind at all times. They will help you decide when you need to exercise personal boundaries. It is okay to set personal boundaries. It is completely okay for you to establish personal boundaries and exercise them. It is not a should. It is a must. Don't be afraid that people will not like you. In fact, reality is quite the opposite. Nobody like a person who allows other people to walk all over him/her. When you establish personal boundaries of what you will and will not tolerate from others, people will start respecting you. You will no longer be seen as a person who lets others walk all over him. You subcommunicate that you value yourself and will stand against disrespect. Don't worry. Nobody will get offended by communication of your boundaries. It is perfectly alright. In rare case someone does get offended, it is none of your concern. Ignore them. If they have no regard for your likes/dislikes, why you should pay any attention to them? It is your life. Do your thing. Surround yourself with people who respect you and your boundaries. Establish your boundaries and at the same time have respect for other people's boundaries as well. This will facilitate fulfilling relationship based on mutual respect and love. On the other hand, lack of boundaries result in resentment and conflict. If you do not have personal boundaries, other people will keep treating you with bad behavior while being unaware of the fact that you don't like that behavior. You will tolerate that bad behavior to a certain point, after which you will either explode into conflict or start resenting them quietly. Have patience. As with any new behavior you apply, you must have patience. In the beginning, you will make little mistakes, like using a very harsh tone while communicating boundaries. Relax. You will learn soon enough. This is not a very complex behavior to internalize. There are no formulas to learn, no numbers to memorize. This is normal human communication. Whether you believe it or not, you are an expert in human communication. You have 20+ years of experience in it. Just relax and keep working on establishing boundaries. With little effort, soon it will become second nature and you will keep reaping rewards after that for the rest of your life. Be flexible. This is a critical piece of information that you must know about personal boundaries. Don't be extremely rigid with your boundaries. It is a must to have personal boundaries and it is important to ensure that they don't get crossed. But paradoxically, you must be flexible in your approach and sense the situation beforehand. In some situations, very rare, you have to let go of your personal boundaries and go with the flow. For example, suppose one of your personal boundaries is to always tell the truth, and you know a piece of information which could break a relationship between two of your friends. In this situation, for the sake of greater good, it is okay if you tell a lie to save a relationship. The point here is to be flexible. Don't be too rigid in every situation. Use your brain. Sometimes it is better to take guidance from your moral codes and ethics to decide what to do in a situation. For the rest, 90% of the time, having clear set of boundaries is perfectly fine. How to set and communicate personal boundaries. Process of setting personal boundaries is very simple. It has 3 primary steps. 1. Identify areas which need boundaries. Start by identifying areas of your life where you require personal boundaries. For example, at your workplace, write down on a piece of paper exactly what is troubling you. Writing on a piece of paper gives amazing clarity to your thoughts. Identify what kind of people, responses, situations which keep troubling you. This is the first step. 2. Prepare a response. After you have identified that, the next step is to prepare a response for each situation. Take guidance from your personal rights mentioned earlier in this post. They will help you determine the kind of response is needed. There is no fixed formula for creating a response. Generally, prepare your response in a manner that is not too harsh or insulting to the other person. Also, your response should be clear and easy to understand. It should easily communicate your intentions without putting you across as over-aggressive. Make sure to prepare a response which feels fine to you. If you make it too complex or unnatural to you, it will not be effective because you will not be at ease while communicating that to other person. 3. Communicate in polite but firm tone. The last step is to clearly communicate your response to the other person. It will let others know what you find acceptable and what not. Communicate in a polite but firm tone. Don't be over-aggressive, but don't be a weakling as well. Speak in a matter-of-fact tone. Don't be emotional. Be calm and clear in what you need to communicate. This will make sure you will not disrespect other person while coming across as authentic, self-respecting person. Even if you have some initial doubts, majority of people will just back off and apologize. Instead of resenting you, they will start respecting you more because you have shown inner strength and self-respect. You have shown that you would not let anyone walk all over you. That was the last step. Please follow the above information and apply it in your interactions. Very soon you will start feeling happier and more confident. There will be transparency in your relationships. The daily disputes over trivial issues will get reduced to minimum. You will have higher self-esteem and your relationships will improve leaps and bounds. This has certainly been my experience since I implemented this knowledge in my life. Till next time.